Hi everyone, it is time for a new vlog and I'm starting it in the car, which is very unusual for me. Lately I haven't really been going anywhere alone. So I'm gonna try to make this update quick because the lighting is super weird and I'm exhausted. But I wanted to start it because I do love filming in the car and we're changing it up a little bit. So this is gonna be my vlog for the Paranormal Romance readathon that Jess, Lacey, and Lisa are hosting. I'm gonna of course have them linked down below. I mentioned this whole readathon in my last video where I did my TBR, and I'm super excited. So today is actually Thursday. It's officially starting tomorrow, but I'm gonna start a little bit early because I'm basically gonna not have a lot of time at all tomorrow and after tomorrow, and I'm just super excited to read all the books, and I want to have fun and I want to have time to read. So I'm starting early. In the end, I'm definitely gonna still have less time than the official time, but it's not serious anyways, it's fine. I had an internship thing today, so if I look weird or sound weird, it's just because it's been a long day. But to treat myself, I just got Starbucks, and I also got some sushi to eat at home, so super excited about that. And yes, I am so happy to have it done. It wasn't that bad, but I've just been so anxious this week, and I am so ready to read some great books and rejuvenate and get some rest. And yes, so the main two things that I'm gonna start with, and slightly started with already, is I started a little bit of Halfway to the Grave by Janine Frost, and I think I managed to read like 20%. I have the audiobook, and I was just super excited and invested and flew through that. And I don't remember the main character's name yet, but she is half vampire, half human, and she wants to hunt down, find her father who ruined her mother's life. And along the way she's captured by this vampire, and they kind of end up working together. And the beginning, I'm a little bit confused because there was something happening, and then the whole I don't know if my brain wasn't working properly, or also, I'm sorry if my makeup looks kind of weird and my lipstick is probably really bad. I forgot to take it with me, and again, I've been gone for hours. Anyways, so yeah, I like it. I so far, I don't really have that many thoughts. I do feel like the beginning is a little bit slow and a little bit confusing, but I think I just, need to get into it. And I haven't read a paranormal romance in ages. Like last year, I was so determined to get into it, and then after October, I just didn't read any. So I want to spark my love for PNR again. And so, we're doing that. So I'm gonna read that first. I normally like to read multiple books at a time, especially during readathons, but with paranormal romance, I don't know if anyone feels the same. I feel like a lot of them, most of them just kind of have the same vibe. And if a book has the same vibe, even if the plot is different, my brain just, it's not separate enough for it. So I don't know if I won't just try to read one book at a time. But a book that I read a little bit of as well today when I was just on the subway, I picked it up for 3 minutes. But I'm super excited for that as well. That is Cabin Fever by Alicia Rye. So far, literally nothing really happened, but the plot of this one is that the main character basically suddenly sees this guy at her porch who is just super wounded, and um there's another name for it, I forgot it. Just, he is not okay and injured, that's the word. And she just, saves his life, and she's gonna take care of him, and I'm not sure what kind of creatures they are. I forgot. I think I saw something in the synopsis, but it was kind of confusing. So yeah, I love Alicia Rye, and I didn't even know that this was a paranormal romance. I knew now before this readathon, but before, when I bought it, I thought it was just contemporary, because that's what mainly Alicia writes nowadays. But she has a lot of backlist books, and I want to read all of them, and I feel like no one has talked about this book. And I just, I am hoping that it's going to be a hidden gem. I don't want to have too high expectations, because, you know, like, while Alicia is one of my favorite romance authors, you know, this is one of her first books and whatever, but gosh, the lighting is so weird. But yeah, I'm just super excited to, you know, like, I said this in my TBR, I just am super excited to, like, read the classics that so many people have read that I haven't. You know, I want to just, like, know what's up with all these hyped books. But at the same time, I really want to find these, like, hidden gems that not many people have talked about, because there are so many paranormal romances that a lot of people don't know about that I have ran into. So yes, I like this video. I'm gonna say paranormal romance so many times. It's also sometimes really hard for me to say, but yes, there's another person walking past, so I'm gonna shut up now, but I'm super excited. I'll probably update you later tonight. And yes, so I hope you enjoy this vlog, and let's just get straight into it.
Say what you wanna say to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Show me there's nothing fake to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning.
Good morning, everyone. It's the next morning, and I have some updates. So I'm gonna try to make this quick because I need to leave soon, because I'm basically going to McDonald's for breakfast with my mom, and then we're gonna do some, like, grocery shopping and stuff, because tomorrow we're actually celebrating my sister's birthday, and so that is kind of like the main stuff that's gonna make me busy. That today we're gonna be, like, making cupcakes and whatever, and shopping and getting ready. But I'm super excited because basically here, at least, the McDonald's breakfast goes until 10:30. I don't know, it might be everywhere, but I wake up at 10 usually, and from where I live, like, I would have to leave at 10 to be able to get there before it ends. And so I don't have the chance to get the breakfast that often because of that. And so I'm super excited. And we were also supposed to go earlier this week and whatever, but it's happening today. And I basically just get their hash browns, and I eat like 3 of them, which probably sounds absolutely nuts to most people, but I just, like, it's not that I dislike the other stuff, but I just don't love it, and I'm just there for the hash browns, because we all know their hash browns are absolutely, like, superior and the best. So yes, but yeah, I'm gonna take you along with me, especially because along the highway yesterday when I went there, I just, like, the trees, absolutely beautiful. So I'm gonna film some footage of that. Because of that, I need to make this update quick, so let's get to the books. I managed to finish Halfway to the Grave last night. I enjoyed it. Okay, so here's the thing. Something that you might know if you watch my channel is that I'm not a plot person, and I think that this is going to be a recurring theme with some of the paranormal romances that focus a lot on the plot and, like, the action, and, like, I just don't personally like that much. Like, I'm there for the romance and the vibes. So books like that are just my favorite. So I didn't really particularly care for the plot, but I did love the romance, and I really liked the 2 main characters. At the beginning, I wasn't sure how I felt about it, because I wasn't really feeling the romance that much, and I was just, like, it felt like it was a slow beginning. I think I mentioned that maybe. But the second half, especially the romance, when it really picked up, I really loved it. And one thing that I loved about this book is something that I'm, like, also slightly worried about in paranormal romances in general, is that this is not a slow burn. So one thing I'm not used to is romances going across a series anymore, because usually nowadays I only read, like, standalone romance series, which means that, you know, like, each book stands on its own and follows one couple. And so it's, like, the whole romance, and it's closed off usually. I'm kind of worried in the slow burn romances that if there's not really any romance content in the first book, then I'm not gonna enjoy it, because again, I don't really love the plot. So yeah, but we'll see. That was not the case with this book, so we're doing great, and I think I'm gonna give it like 3.5 stars or 4 stars, something along those lines. But I really enjoyed it. It was a great start and it made me super excited to read more. But one little thing that I could not handle in this book is that his two nicknames for her are Kitten and Pet. And I was like, that I am not here for that. Like, that is not sexy to me. That is just no. Like, so that was kind of annoying, but like it didn't ruin the story or whatever, you know. So like it's fine. But yes, and I did also start Cabin Fever by Alicia Rai. I ended up waking up way too early today, which I did not enjoy, but I could at least pick up this book, and I'm at like 25%, and I'm really enjoying it. So I feel like the plot is honestly so far literally that we have a witch and this dude who gets injured and appears at her doorstep, and she takes care of him. And she basically, the only thing that I haven't told you that is kind of relevant at the beginning but not really that much, is that our heroine basically like lost her magic for 3 years and she gets it back at the beginning of the story. So I did feel like that happened a little bit too quickly and it felt a little bit unnatural or like unrealistic, but I didn't really mind particularly. And I'm super excited because I feel like this could be like a really closed off story in the cabin, super focused on the romance. I can kind of sense that there's gonna be some like supernatural danger going on or something, but I think that this is gonna really work for me because I absolutely adore forced proximity and I absolutely adore the trope of like taking care of the other person, which again, if you love that, this is that trope on crack. I am so here for it. So I think that this is gonna be such a fun time, and so I have that on my Kindle and I am super excited to keep reading this. So those are the updates for now. I have ran into some books that I haven't put on my TBR that I think I might pick up later because I forgot to like look at the Paranormal Romances on Scribd, and I found some audiobooks that look really fun that I think I could get to later today. And like I'm actually so here for it because normally I, you know, I'm a mood reader, and so I usually end up picking books that I just run into and want to read. But I love the thought of actually kind of sticking to my TBR and discovering new things. Like, that is the perfect balance to me. So I really need to shut up. I have to go, so I'm gonna finish getting ready, and I'll again take you along with me, and then catch up with you later.
Say what you wanna say to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Show me there's nothing fake to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Turn this room, turn it to an ocean. Let me float around. Eyes closed, like we're dreaming even when we're not. You and me got a whole other meaning, I don't know how. You and me just know how it feels when we're falling in love. Say what you wanna say to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Show me there's nothing fake to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Say what you wanna say to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Show me there's nothing fake to me now. I wanna wake up.
It is time for an update. It is still the same day, and I have been super busy all day, and I've also been super tired because of how early I woke up this morning, but I have managed to squeeze in some reading, and it's going really great, and I'm just having the best time. And so I made some progress with Cabin Fever, and I don't think I need to tell you more about the plot because so far there really isn't more to the plot. I love it. Like I'm like halfway through the book now. Obviously it could change still in the second half, but so far it's just like so chill and so focused on the romance. And so this is perfect for people who, like me, don't really care for plot. If you're looking for a paranormal romance that is kind of like calmer and isn't like super action packed, there's no like super intense drama or any like suspense or, you know, anything like that, just something that has like magical creatures but almost feels like normal life, then this is perfect for you. Again, there's probably going to be some shit that goes down later, but so far it's definitely like that. I love it. Like the tension between our two main characters is so good. And like I'm rooting for them so hard. It's both like steamy but also really emotional and sweet and cute. So I'm just super here for it. The only thing that I quickly want to mention that is kind of a little bit weird in the book is that the hero is a cop. And the way that they have kind of talked about it has been a little bit weird. They kind of like discuss if cops are bad or not, and like it's just like a little bit weird. I don't know if it's like, I don't think it's done completely terribly, but like if you just really don't want anything like that in a book at all, then I just wanted to mention that if you want to avoid it. But the hero is like, he is super sweet. He is absolutely wonderful and charming and supportive and amazing. So like, I love him. I just wish that was not a thing. And then I actually picked up another book on audio that I don't think I've mentioned to you unless I forgot. And that is Soul Fire by Juliet Cross. This is one of the books that I have on my TBR that I didn't have on my TBR that I ran into. And the thing is, Juliet Cross recently became one of my new favorite authors. Like, I've read 2 books by her, but I'm really enjoying this one, and I just have that feeling, And like, I read Wolf Gone Wild and Don't Hex and Drive. Absolute perfection, 5 stars, incredible, absolutely wonderful. I've talked about both of these books in other vlogs. And so I just fell in love, and she has a really big backlist, and I was like, I need to read every single one of the books. The thing that I love, that it seems like it's the case for all of Juliet's books, is that they are standalone series. So in this series, there's 3 books, and all of them follow different characters. I checked, and I just love that. Like, for like my absolute preferences, that is what I love the most. And like, I can definitely enjoy a series, and but I just love this. I haven't even said what it's about. We basically have Jessen, and I don't know how to pronounce the hero's name, because I think, unless I like imagined it, I think in the audiobook it's Lucius, but I thought it was pronounced Lucius. So I'm not sure what version to go with now. Jessen, our heroine, she is human, and Lucius, he's half human, half dragon, and the 2 of them are basically from kind of like rival families, and a forbidden romance ensues. I love the 2 main characters, and their chemistry is amazing. There was a scene that was like the hero got really jealous because of something that was happening, whatever. And like, this is something I tweeted about once recently, that like jealousy in real life, like obviously like jealousy is normal. I mean, just like the intense jealousy when you kind of like get a little bit like angry, frustrated, like when you express it more in real life, completely sucks. But in books, it was just so good. So there was that moment. And like, I'm just so here for it. I don't know, like, Julia is just so good at creating incredible characters and chemistry, and like everything around that is just perfection. Definitely, like, again, kind of more action packed, but I do think that it's definitely way more focused on the romance, which again, as you already know, I am here for. I don't know if I'm gonna update later today, because I have been really tired, and I think I just would like to read and chill. But one more thing that I wanted to share that was kind of random, but I'm super excited about, is that I got a new candle yet again, and I got the Yankee candle in Coral Peony. So yes, I got a flower candle for fall. I feel like on camera it looks even more orange than it is in real life. It's kind of like this coral colors, so it's kind of in between pink and orange. So I like, the thing that matters the most to me for like clips for my videos is the color, because like you can't smell it, you know? This worked the best color wise, and they unfortunately didn't have any smell that I liked more, that would be more fall vibes. You know, it was kind of like at the grocery store and not the official Yankee candle store, so there wasn't a lot of options, but it was on sale. So, and this smells absolutely amazing. So I'm super excited about that because I've been just loving candles so much. And yeah, so I'm gonna stop talking now. I'm not sure when I'm gonna update you next, but hopefully soon, and hopefully I'll have some exciting reading updates.
With you in the morning, but we can do nothing at all. So what? If you're stupid, then you know it's nothing wrong. But you and me got a whole lot of meaning, I don't know how. You and me just know how it feels when we're falling in love.
Hi everyone, so it is time for a lot of updates. It is Sunday now. I was going to update yesterday, but I literally left the apartment at like 9:40 and we got home at like 9 p.m. So I was away the entire day, and normally I often like at like small family gatherings, or whatever I should call it, I usually end up reading at least a little bit on my phone. But one of my best friends ended up coming there, which was a surprise for me. So that was amazing, but it also meant that I did not read anything during the day. However, I did manage to read a little bit when I got back home during the night. And since this morning, I started reading. It's now 1 p.m. and I'm ready to keep on reading the entire day. And I am super excited. And I do have some updates for you. And I did finish some things and start some things. So let's talk about everything. I think I didn't even update you on finishing Soulfire. So I finished Soulfire that was on a Friday night, and it was fun. I ended up giving it 4 stars, and I loved the 2 main characters. It was just really fun and super quick to read and super engaging. And I ended up giving it 4 stars. The one thing that I didn't love is just that there's this plot line basically that I didn't even tell you. That our heroine, Jesson, she's supposed to get married to this guy from, you know, like a rich family or whatever, and he is an absolute disgusting asshole, and thankfully he is barely there, so it's just like kind of in the background, and obviously there are some things that happen with that, but thank God he's not there a lot because he was disgusting. There was something that happened and I absolutely hated it. And so I do hate anything that has to do with the main characters being forced to do something. But besides that, I loved the romance, and I do have content warnings on Goodreads, so do check that. But yeah, one frustration that I have that has been the case with like pretty much almost every single one of the books that I've read is that in paranormal romance, especially the older ones, there's just almost always a kind of something that happens in the plot that has to do with sexual assault, and I don't want to read that. But at the same time, if I didn't want to read that at all, I couldn't read any of the older paranormal romances, so that kind of sucks. It's never, like, none of them have been done in any way that it would, like, romanticize it, but it's just so often used as, like, a, you know, like, dangerous, terrible moment in PNR, if that makes sense. And then, this morning, I finished Cabin Fever. So, I don't even, like, know what to say about the book or what to, like, feel about the book. The first half of the book, absolutely loved it. It was amazing, you know, like the romance, which is so wonderful. I was super invested in the main characters, but in the second half, the like conflict was introduced, which once again, it was like danger from the outside, and just, I don't want to like say too much. It's kind of like clear that something like that is going to happen, but still I don't want to like spoil anything. But yeah, and I felt like all of that was a little bit too dragged on, and I hate things like that. Again, there was just the weird stuff with the cops and a few like lines that just not ideal, and then it piles up and it's just kind of like, I don't love that. Again, it was written a long time ago, and I'm sure that Alicia Rai would write it differently, so I don't think it's like her, but just, like the book is not the best. I still loved the main characters and the romance was wonderful, and so I have no idea how to rate this book and how to feel about it. It's just like so confusing. Again, I did love how it was like forced proximity set in one house. The two of them were super soft and it was just super steamy, super fun, super cute. And I loved the romance in this. Again, like the paranormal part of it was not a big part of it at all. It wasn't even that developed either. So if you don't like that, then it's definitely not for you. But if you don't mind it not being that developed and you like just like a sprinkle of it and like some of the vibes, then you might enjoy this. So I don't know if that makes any sense, but I enjoyed the book, but I just had some issues with it. But it's fine. I'm still super happy that I read it, and the first half was definitely worth the read. The second was a little worse, but the way it wrapped up was cute and like, yeah. So that is that. And the last update that I have is that I've been reading another book, and actually two, oh my gosh. Here I thought, oh my god, I have nothing to update you on, and yes, I just really went hard this morning, and like I'm ready to read. I'm in such a strong reading mood. So the next book that I started was Awakened by Moni Boyce. This is available on Scribd as an audiobook and an ebook, I think, as well. So I'm listening to the audiobook yet again, and I'm enjoying it. It's basically about Willow, who keeps on having these nightmares, and about this like weird vampire that is like stalking her, and something just weird with that is happening. And then she ends up passing out at work, and she finds herself in this guy's apartment called Eli, who is a witch, and he's assigned to be her protector, because it turns out she is actually an oracle and she's super important. And yeah, so it's technically, now that I think about it, like a bodyguard romance in a way. I really like them together. They're not together yet. I don't know if it's gonna be like slow burn exactly, but it is a forbidden romance because of the fact that he's a protector. There's like a rule that he can't like have a relationship with her. And yeah, I'm excited to keep reading that. I don't really have that much left to read because it's quite a short audiobook, so I am glad I picked that up. So it has witchy vibes, it's fun, and it's definitely like this, I feel like has quite a balance in like the paranormal plot type stuff going on and the romance developing. So I am liking that. The last book that I started this morning, I wanted to once again have an ebook to go along with the audiobook so that I can switch between them. That is Air by Katie Robert. This is the sequel to Sacrifice, which is basically like this vampire novella that is like paranormal, no, polyamorous vampire romance that is just like basically mostly smut with like some supernatural things going on. And it's set at this house. So basically the first book is set at this house that the heroine ends up being trapped in with this vampire, and then there are two vampires that join them, and it's basically them like developing this bond, hooking up and like being in this house, and then also trying to figure out how to make sure that Malachi, the guy who is stuck in this house, so that like making sure that he can actually leave. So that is what the first book is about. Obviously I'm not going to talk about what the second book is about because that would be kind of spoilery, but yeah, like If you are looking for really steamy vampire polyamorous stuff, then you might definitely enjoy this. I do think that like the paranormal things aren't that developed, but they are still quite a big part of the story. So if you want vampire vibes and don't really mind if it's like not super developed, and again, kind of similarly to Cabin Fever, it's just, you know, set in one place and like super focused on the characters and their relationship, then you're gonna love this. And I am enjoying that a lot. There's one little thing that's kind of like, I don't know, I might as well mention it if like someone else doesn't like it. That is just basically that the heroine wants to get pregnant. That's all I'm gonna say about it. Because again, yeah, like I don't want to spoil anything, and that just, there's nothing wrong with it, obviously, but I just, for some reason, it makes me feel uncomfortable a little bit. So I don't love that. And just wanted to mention it as something, again, if you don't want to read that, if you really don't like that, then maybe avoid it. It's not like it's a big thing, but, you know, like, I just don't love that. Definitely would love to pick up at least one more book after these two, especially because they're pretty short. I'm pretty far into them, and I'm really enjoying them, so it's not, like, hard to read them. Yeah, we'll see. I do think that I know what I want to read after this, but since this update has been so long, I think I should just shut up, and I'll talk to you soon.
Say what you wanna say to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Show me that you're fake to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Say what you wanna say to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning.
So it is now around, I think, 7 p.m. and I have finished two books. First book that I finished was Awakened by Moni Boyce, and honestly, both of the books, both this one and Air, they ended up being something in between 3.5 and 4 stars. I really enjoyed them, flew through them. I had a lot of fun with them, but it just didn't quite reach that 5-star level. Not for any particular reason, really, but yeah, so Awakened. It had really great witchy vibes. The bodyguard part and the forbidden romance, I loved it, and they had a really strong connection. There was a little bit of steam. Not a lot, but there was something. And so the romance, once again, not really slow burn, but definitely not that like they would be, you know, like together happy forever at the end of the book, because this is not a standalone series. This is just like a regular series, and I'm definitely interested in reading the other books. It was a great time, and I'm happy that I read it. I had this on my TBR, and I also like ran into it last year and never got around to it, so I'm happy that I did so now. If you're looking for a quick, short book that is super fun, has great characters, and has witchy vibes, definitely recommend this. And then Air, this series is just like definitely like it's something. Like, it's chaotic, it's wild, it's a lot. So again, there's just like a lot of smut in both the books and not a lot more. So if that's something you're interested in, then you're gonna love it. But I feel like the magic is definitely like, you can feel it, sense it, you see it throughout the whole thing, but like the plot is super focused once again on the characters. They're also mostly just in one place, and there is this like danger looming, because basically in the first book you already know that Mina, the main character, her father is a disgusting person, and he is after her and all of them, and he just like wants to have them all under his control. And so that's kind of like the antagonist in the whole series. But besides that, it's super chill, and so during the book, the plot of that doesn't really evolve much until the end, which was kind of the case with the first book as well. And so if you don't like that, then you're probably not going to enjoy it. But again, as someone who prefers the characters and the romance to be focused on, I really enjoyed this. I absolutely loved the characters. Like, at this point in the first book, I was not really sure, because like it's a lot. It's a lot. Like, Katie Robert just goes all out with all kinds of things. But there's just this really wonderful dynamic, because again, it's polyamorous. The dynamic between, like, you know, the vibe of each of the characters and the way that they all work together, and you know, all of that is just really great. Yeah, so that is my update on that. And I don't think I'm gonna, like, my one main goal for the end of the readathon is to read Angel's Blood by Nalini Singh. Another book that was on my TBR. I'm so proud of myself. And so this one I have an audio on the speed that I listen to. I hope that I can I can pretty easily finish it tonight if I go hard. I do want to watch a movie with my mom. So I'm gonna do that. So that's obviously gonna take quite a bit of time, but I think that, like, if I listen before and then after until midnight or whenever I go to sleep, then I think I can definitely do it. Recently, I read a contemporary by Nalini Singh, which I didn't even know was a thing, and I read it for a video that's hopefully coming soon that I'm super excited to share with you, and I absolutely adored that book. It was the best thing ever, and so that gives me, like, it just, like, you know, I'm definitely gonna enjoy it even if it's not a 5-star. Like, it doesn't have to be a 5-star. I am, like, a tiny little drop sad that I haven't had a 5-star this whole weekend. But I've read, like, I haven't disliked any of the books, and I've had a great time with all of them, so I'm thriving anyways. I'll talk to you soon when I make some progress with the book.
Say what you wanna say to me now.
So it is time for some updates. I watched the movie with my mom, and it was a Hallmark movie, and it was really fun. It was really cute, and just like the most perfect chill movie. That wasn't like one of my favorites, but I enjoyed it, and the autumnal vibes were perfection. I have an update on Angel's Blood, and I did not expect it to happen, but I ended up kind of DNFing it, at least for now. So I didn't know some things about the book that I should have known, and it was literally right there in, like, the people I follow. Some of them mentioned it, some stuff in the reviews, but I think I looked at it a while ago, and recently I haven't looked at it because just I don't know. But there's just, like, basically the hero in this book, he is just kind of disgusting, honestly. I don't know what else to call it, but he, at the beginning at least, he is just super gross and weird, and, like, there are just some things with, like, non-consent, and I'm just really not here for it. You know, I can like the type of hero who's kind of like a little bit of a dick but not really a dick, you know, like that kind of vibe. I can enjoy that in books, but I feel like this is absolutely not even that. This is not that. I don't want to say that, like, I'm never gonna get back to it, but I just don't want to read it right now. And yeah, so I don't think that, like, I'm definitely gonna read at least other Nalini's books for sure. Again, this was written in 2009, and I'm sure that she would write it differently now, but I just don't want to read it. So really bummed about that, because while I wasn't, like, thinking that it would be a 5-star and, like, a new favorite, I was excited to enjoy it, hopefully. So that sucks, but I still really wanted to read another book, and so I decided to pick up, like, a quite short audiobook that I ran into on Scribd, and that is called Soul Swap by Arizona Tape and Laura Greenwood. So I'm at, like, 30% into this. It's 10 p.m., so I could definitely finish it. I'm not sure if I'm gonna, like, push myself to finish it before midnight, because, you know, like, I am getting kind of tired. Like, while I'm still in such a strong reading mood, I do kind of just want to watch YouTube or, like, chill. I don't want to rush it, you know? And I also feel like when I listen to audiobooks too much, my head starts feeling weird, so I don't want to overdo it. So I just saw the cover. I was intrigued. I don't I haven't really ran into a lot of sapphic paranormal romances at all. It's basically like a Freaky Friday paranormal. And so far, the like magical, supernatural stuff is a little bit confusing because apparently one of the main characters, um, it's basically I've never seen Freaky Friday, which I just like kind of realized and it hit me, and I never realized that I actually haven't seen it because I thought, like I knew the story and whatever, and I think I saw like a remake or something, but like the original one, what I think is the original, I haven't seen that, and I think that like it's probably different from the other one that I saw, so I thought that this book was that the two main characters, that the couple swaps their bodies. That is not the case. So there's basically the first two books in this series are set in the same timeline, and this is the second book. So I did see on script that you can read them like without reading the other. The main character in this book, she switches bodies with another girl, and so this other girl is in a relationship with this woman, and our heroine, the main character, um, she was in a relationship with a dude, and we could kind of sense that like she wasn't actually really like into him, and it just was not feeling great for her. But they were engaged. The two women that were together for like a year, so both of them have established relationships. I'm not really sure how I feel about that. Like, I'm sure that it's just gonna, like, fall into place, obviously, and both of them are gonna actually end up being way happier with, like, the other person. But I'm just like, I don't know. I don't fully love that. I do think that this is gonna be one of the books that doesn't really have the, like, magical stuff developed that well, which, again, I don't mind. Like, I don't want to be lost, but I also don't need any, like, super detailed explanations. So I'm just hoping that I'm going to love the romance. I don't really know if it's going to be adult or YA or new adult. So I'm probably going to catch up and wrap up this vlog tomorrow. So it is time for a quick update and wrap up of this vlog. I didn't really end up reading that much more of Soul Swap last night. I was just feeling a little bit burned out and tired, and I just wanted to like relax for a bit, and I wasn't like loving the book that much to be able to like fly through it. But I did get some bingos, and so I did the prompts, and I just had so much fun this weekend. I already mentioned it. It motivated me so much to read more PNR, and it was just such a fun time. And usually readathons can be really stressful for me sometimes and just like anxiety inducing, but this one, except for the end, I was just having such a great time even though I didn't really have that much time. Maybe that like made it even more special when I could read, and it was just so much fun. So yeah, that is kind of I think gonna be it for this video. I do have a lot of fall content coming, and I'm definitely gonna read way more paranormal romances this month and hopefully beyond this month as well, and so definitely stay tuned for that. Again, you should absolutely check out all the hosts of this readathon. I love them all so much. If you are a romance reader, you absolutely need to follow them because they read so much romance in so many different genres, so you absolutely need to check them out and follow them and subscribe to them. And yeah, so thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far in the video, leave any kind of supernatural creature emoji down below that you want. And thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and I'm going to see you soon in another video. Bye!